Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the top 3, 4, plus maybe a couple bonuses because it's really hard for me to break down the best lures for the month of October. So stay tuned, it's going to be a good one. Okay guys, first I want to talk about none other than the buzzbait. As being the skirtless one or the skirted, both are absolutely deadly. I would run the buzzbaits on a 7.2 to 7.4 medium heavy action fast action rod. Depending on the water clarity, if it's real dark, I would run braid. If you got stained or clear water, I would use monofilament, anywhere from 15 to 17 pound test, depending on the structure I'm running around. I'd run this on rock flats, riprap banks, laydowns. And the reason for this, guys, is because this time of the year the water's chilling down. These objects will hold heat longer, and the bass will navigate to that and try to push their bait fish to these areas to ambush them. So that would be where I would use them. You want to always match the hatches any time of the year. So if you have a lot of smaller bait fish, run a smaller buzz bait. Okay guys, colors I would use: white and chartreuse, black and blue black. If I only had two, I'd probably either run the white or the white chartreuse. I'm going to count that as one because they're pretty close together. Or the black and blue. So that, if you could only have two, that would be the two I would definitely run with. Okay guys, number 2 in the baits is the double-bladed spinnerbait. Okay, the Willow Blade Colorado, or double Colorado. In this case, this is Colorado, Indiana. I mistakenly brought out the Indiana blade, but double Colorado. And there's another one for you guys. Size of heads I would use on these would be 3/8 to a ½ ounce. Probably 15 to 17 pound fluorocarbon. I'd run this around submerged brush, rock piles, laydowns, dock pilings, anywhere the bass would, set up to ambush. But the key here, guys, is you're burning it and you're running it into stuff to make it deflect. Now, if you're out in open water with the spinnerbait, throw a twitch in the last 2/3 of the, the last whatever half or so of your cast. Throw some random twitches and jerks in there. Make those blades flare out. Make it look like it ran into something. Okay. What that does is just mimic, we talked about it in past videos, it just mimics shad. If one shad gets spooked, he goes one way, other shad, the whole school goes the other way. And that's what the spinnerbait's mimicking, causes reaction strike. If there's a lot of smaller bait fish, run smaller spinnerbaits, but typically I would be in the ½ ounce, 3/8 ounce baits. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing here, and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button, and if there's anything at all that you need to know or you have a question about, leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay guys, moving right along, let's get into number 3. And that's square bill crankbaits. This is the Strike King KVD shad color, 1.5. There's a sexy shad in the 1.5, or the Tennessee shad in the 1.0. Okay guys, how would I use this? Again, depending on the structure, I'm going to run 12 to 15 pound fluorocarbon. Me personally, I'm going to run a 7-foot 2-inch crankbait rod with a 7-to-5-1 gear ratio reel. I'm going to burn this across the bottom. I mean, burn. If I'm going to work these shallow, obviously they're shallow crankbaits, on a rock flat, structure out on flats, up along shore, riprap, shallow riprap bank, around shallow laydowns. But I'm going to burn it down there, make it deflect. If I can't get a lot of deflection, I'll throw in some twitches to try to make it look like it deflected, or bounce it off something, try to bounce. If you can, always bounce these lures off something, guys. It will create a reaction strike, but burn, 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 stop. Burn, burn, stop. Burn, burn, stop. Burn, 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 stop. That's the technique with these. They're a great October lure. And then finally, before we go on, we're in crankbaits if you're out deep. These are the Storm Subverts. Just a couple of the lures, deep divers that I brought out. You want to throw a deep diving crankbait, again, around the submerged brush, rock piles, humps, things like that. Burn, 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 stop. Burn, stop. Burn, 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 stop. Every once in a while, maybe even throw a twitch in, make it look erratic. Deadly, deadly technique for October. Okay, guys, and finally, before we get into the last bonus, topwater. Topwater walking bait, this being the Strike King Sexy Dog. Big topwaters in the morning and in the evening, up on mouths of creeks, channel creeks with a shallow flat next to it. Deadly. This has a subtle rattle to it, and also when you're walking, it has subtle walking action. The rattle's just going to set you apart from the millions of bait fish that they're feeding on and cause a ferocious strike. Colors I would use is white, ghost. If it's real sunny out, I might even throw in a chrome. But if it's dark out, maybe a black. But definitely some type, even if you don't like the Sexy Dog, some type of walking bait in the month of October. Okay, guys. Now 2 bonuses for you, and then we're going to wrap this video up. One would be the underspin. And I would pair this particular Berkeley Fusion underspin with the Storm Largo shads. If I needed more action, I'd take that tab off, and that tail's going to really thump in the water, giving me a lot more action. Okay, that would be the Storm Largo shad. If I didn't need all that action, I would take, and I wanted to fish around more cover and long grass and stuff that's still alive, I might go with the Owner Flashy Swimmer, which would give me a Texas rigged style, so I'm weedless. And I would use either depending on the size of the bait fish, I'd probably use a 3-inch Kitech to a 4-inch Kitech. You guys down south might want to jump up to a 5 or a 4. But I would use the Owner underspin. Again, I would fish these rock flats, mouths of creek channels, around dock pilings, submerged brush or laydowns, grass lines that still have green grass growing on it, where the bass are going to set up the ambush. And finally, I don't feel it would be right without sharing the Zoom Super Fluke. This being the tiny fluke. For me around here, our bait fish are still tiny. I'd run the tiny fluke. Before I forget, I'd run my underspins on a medium light, fast action rod, probably a 7-foot 2-inch or 7-foot rod with, again, no surprise, guys, a 7-to-5 to 1 gear ratio reel. Okay, and then the Super Flukes, Texas rigged. It's soft jerk bait. I'm going to run that on a medium light action with the tiny flukes. Probably a 1-aught or 2-aught EWG hook. I'm going to cast it out weightless, my personal weightless. Cast it out, and I'm going to jerk, 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 pause, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. And I'm going to run this around laydowns, grass lines that still have some green in it, dock edges, flats rocky flats, down along riprap banks. Um, Guys, you know, submerged brush if it's around. Um, Anywhere these bass, and I cannot stress where they're, if you don't have live scope, where you can physically see structure, would be a great place for the tiny flukes, or even the super flukes. You could use them. And like I said, the line I would use for those would be probably on the tiny flukes, probably 6 to 8 pound test fluorocarbon, straight fluorocarbon. On the super flukes, I might go 8 to 10 pound test. And I personally would probably use a spinning reel and rod versus bait caster. Some guys will use a bait caster, but being that it's weightless, I would probably, if you have a BFS system casting reel, you could use it on that. But if not, use your spin casting reel, your open face reel, and spinning rod. That would be the way to go. Okay, guys, I think that pretty. Oh, and before I forget about the underspins, also, sometimes they want something a little different. This is the screwhead, Sqaure screwhead by Megabass. Another deadly technique. So sometimes if they don't hit those underspins, I would put on the Sqaure head. Just gives it a different look, a different flash. Bring them unwound. Okay, guys, well, this video has been long enough, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button. It just lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. And if I left anything out, or you have anything you'd like to share with the rest of us, please leave it down in the comments below. Love to hear from you guys, and as always, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.